The bubble is finally bursting, leaving a trail of gullible fools to nurse the losses. We are simply witnessing a correction in the greatest bull market of all time. Governments are getting scared and clamping down as they witness the power ebbing away. The North Koreans are manipulating the market as an overture to war, and the Knights Templar are controlling all the cryptocurrencies as a way restoring their ancient order to global power. Okay, I admit I made that last one up after reading a bit too much Dan Brown, but all the others are explanations seriously put forward for the wild volatility in the price of Bitcoin so far this year. Indeed, there are almost as many opinions out there as there are actual units of the digital currency. Amid all that speculation, however, one point is easily overlooked. Crazy movements in the price mean that Bitcoin will never be the one thing it is actually meant to be, a digital currency. As the Starbucks chairman Howard Schultz pointed out last week, there is space for a digital currency. But it is not going to be Bitcoin, and that means we are still waiting for the version that will get it right. During 2017, Bitcoin was on an epic bull run, rising from less than $1,000 a unit in February to a high of $19,501 in late December. But in the past couple of weeks, it has plunged almost as dramatically. On Monday, it dropped below $7,700, losing almost two-thirds of its value in the space of a couple of weeks, after Lloyds joined other banks in saying it would allow customers to buy the currency on their credit cards. It hasn't been any better for the other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum is down from $1,050 to less than $850, and Litecoin is down from close on $300 a unit to less than $150. Anyone who jumped on the crypto bandwagon after Christmas will be feeling badly bruised by now. It remains to be seen whether those currencies recover in due course, or whether they sink back into obscurity. One thing should be clear, however: Bitcoin might not be a part of the financial system one day. But it is not ever going to be a genuine currency. There are lots of reasons why people are demanding a new type of currency. For starters, it may well be better suited to the demands of an increasingly interconnected digital economy than traditional dollars, euros, pounds or yen. The internet operates on a single global standard, so it makes sense to have a payment method that works the same way. Next, it has the potential at least to be cheaper to process, certainly when compared with traditional finance houses. Finally, it can't be manipulated by governments or by central banks, and, in a decade in which interest rates have dropped below zero, and there's been talk of a ban on cash, there is an increasing demand for that as well. Lots of people are looking for an alternative monetary system, for a range of different reasons, and that explains why they have latched onto Bitcoin with so much enthusiasm. The trouble with Bitcoin, however, is that its value fluctuates too much. Take a simple example: rewind the clock to February 2014, only 4 years ago, and say you had 5 Bitcoins. Towards the end of that month, they were worth about $1,000. You might have spent them on a new TV, or a flight to Australia, or a really good new suit. But by January this year, those same 5 coins would have been worth $100,000. And you'd be feeling like a real schmuck for having spent $100 on a television. That is an extreme example. But even on day-to-day transactions, the volatility in the price means that companies are finding it impossible to accept cryptocurrencies as payment. In the time it takes to process the transaction, its value might have moved too far for a realistic price to be determined. Microsoft stopped accepting Bitcoin temporarily last month because of the wild movements in the price. Ironically, the North American Bitcoin Conference in Miami decided it couldn't accept Bitcoins from delegates. You would have to pay in dollars instead. That is not how it is meant to be. One of the virtues of a genuine currency is that it has a fairly stable value. Cash usually depreciates by about 1 or 2 percentage points a year, but that is just about acceptable. You don't really notice the losses from inflation in any meaningful way. It doesn't rise or fall in value by 40% or 50% every few months. And when it does, as the Deutsche Mark did in the 20s or the Zimbabwean dollar more recently, then it very quickly loses all credibility, and gets replaced with something more reliable. Bitcoin is many things, but it will struggle to become a true digital currency. Photo, Chris Ratcliffe. Bitcoin is more likely to become the new gold rather than the new dollar, euro or yen. It is an asset rather than a form of money, something you invest in and hold for the long term, as an alternative to mainstream equities or bonds. That means there is a space for a genuine digital currency. What will be its main characteristics? It needs to be trusted. It needs to be reliable. It needs to be accepted globally. And most of all, it needs to be stable, so that if you use it to pay for a haircut today, you won't find the same money could buy you a house a year later. Whoever finally creates that really will change the financial system, and for the better. Legendary investor Warren Buffett is a noted Bitcoin skeptic. Photo, Bloomberg News. But we haven't got there yet, and the wild volatility of the last month means it is not going to be Bitcoin or any of its existing rivals. Telegraph, London.